Internet? Welcome to the No Coast Podcast. This is episode 12. I'm BS Elliot. I'd like to give a quick shout out to Gerbs for some juicy goddamn grapes. I'm here today with Kelly Betz, aka Young Banana Mouth, aka Reformed Dr. Ujeezy. Today we're doing something a little bit different, you know? A lot of times we kind of go back, do some throwbacks to old battles and stuff, and today we're going to kick it off with the Ask Me Anything Kelly Betz edition. Shouts out to CatMob. Homies posted up a lot of questions to ask them, and we're just gonna get into it. Some CatMobs. CatMobbers up here. Velkov wants to know, what's the story behind you breaking 3 bones and smashing your face? Provided it's entertaining and or funny, so if you don't think you can muster that one up.
Okay, alright. It is funny, and it's only funny because I thought my face was gonna be fucked up, and you can see the scar. It goes from here to here.
Oh yeah, that's a scar.
Yep, I got a big old scar. And when it happened, I thought it'd be way bigger, but I was just crazy. I just laughed through the whole experience. And so yeah, I'll start from the beginning. I got a fixed gear bike.
Well, that was your first mistake.
Okay, and if you don't know, that means like the pedals do exactly what the back wheel does. You know, it's connected so you can like ride backwards and float on it. But they're really, really hard to ride. They're super lightweight and they get going super quick, very easily. So I'm riding one of those. I've had it for 2 weeks. My brother Matt, you know, Mantras, you know him, is behind me. We're going down 10th Street and we're actually turning into the Berlin Theater, which is where all the first No Coast battles happened. Anyway, I decided to turn through the parking lot last second. I'm not gonna make it. I'm gonna run into this curb. So I hit the front brake, and there's no back brake. You do the back brakes with your legs. So I hit the front brake just by instinct. So of course the front wheel stops. I'm going super fast, and I just flew over my handlebars. And the curb I was gonna hit, avoided hitting with my bike. Took care of it with my face. So like I just like slammed the side of my cheek in there. And Matt says like he couldn't believe that I stood up. And then when I looked at him, he couldn't believe I had all my teeth or any teeth. Like I was just like, it's gonna get funny. I'm like dripping blood and like just go into shock. I walk a block, which is incredible. I made an entire block trying to get to the hospital by myself. My boy Leroy showed up, gave me a ride to the hospital.
Shouts out to Leroy.
Shouts out to Leroy, No Coast super fan, occasional door guy. So anyway, at the hospital, I'm just kind of like in this weird state, and I have a show that night, and I'm just like joking with Matt about a bunch of things, but I'm like, Matt, I should do the show tonight. And the way he laughed was like our sense of humor, which is just like dark and that's like, that's fucked up. And like, why would you do that? And I don't know, I grew up as like a big fan of like Jackass, you know, and like CKY, and like imitated all sorts of shit. And that's how I got into like videotaping. And so it was just a great opportunity. And the performance that night was with Diggy Splash and the Bad Decisions. Oh. So it just made so much sense to do something as theatrical as that. And so I'm like in the hospital, like laid up. They fucking like, I had all this road rash. They like scraped my skin off, and they like, and she stitched my face up. And they were like the hospital staff knew I was in denial about how like ruined I was, you know. And like this nurse actually leaned over to me at one point because she's like, "You doing okay?" And I'm like, "I'm fine." Like I'm in on this big joke that I'm gonna go perform. And this nurse, like 40 years old, like leans in and she goes, "You're fucked up." And I thought that was great. And so like, yeah, there's pictures. Oh, so there's a picture of me giving the middle finger, and I've always wanted to say publicly that like, oh, I guess it was with this hand, but it's like that was the last thing I did with that arm for like months, for like 4 or 5 months, because I'd broken my wrist. It was like the smaller bone on my wrist. I broke a bone on my elbow, and I broke my clavicle. Jeez. So like the whole side of my body was out of commission, road rash all over. I was missing skin from inside my beard to like down here where it had broken. Yeah, my face was like hanging off. I'll put a picture in, so warning right here, warning, if you don't want to see a really fucked up face, don't look right now.
Graphic shit.
Graphic shit coming your way.
Some blood, some little bits of flesh.
So yeah, my face was hanging off, and I was so in shock that it was like the day after the show that I was talking to my sister, who's like helping take care of me. I was like, the reason I can't see is because that's my face. And she was like, yeah, like I was just so out of it. So I go to the show in a wheelchair, and Mike Danger from the Bad Decisions, while I'm rapping, I think I did 2 songs, maybe 3, and while I'm rapping, he like wheeled me back and forth, like right there.
Clowns is laughing, clowns doesn't chuckle, clowns on the ground and he's dragging his knuckles. Boys, you do not, he's the king of the galaxy. Wolves are trying to shut planets of casualties. It's not to roll the gold, that's exchange for his soul. And an agreement he made with the devil. Stuck in the days, mechanical and fuck sideways, taking my hands on everything.
And like Diggy was like bodyguarding me, making sure nobody touched me and everything, because I was like, you know, laid up. The fact I shouldn't have been in public, and so it was like, you know, okay, nobody even talk to him, you know what I mean? Yeah. So, but luckily Sean, who's actually being the technical engineer right now at Cat Studios, he was filming for public access TV for Cat, and he put that footage on YouTube that night. And then I think I posted it on Facebook. A friend of mine, Evan Grohl, a rapper named Grizz, sent it to a friend of his in LA who's a producer of a show called Right This Minute. It's kind of like a Tosh.0 ripoff. There's
My mom loves it.
Okay. It's like 4 comedians instead of 1, and they like make fun of viral stuff. And like they Skyped me in, and I was like all fucking pilled up, you know, and like slurring my words, and like did a Skype interview with them just like making fun of me to my face. You know, and like it was great, and it just made, and then they put that online, and that got a bunch of views on their website. Like it kind of was like the biggest thing on their site for then, and like a friend of a friend like saw it in jail, you know what I mean, and like and like wrote them and was like, I saw your band in jail, you know, like it was on like basic cable, and like to me, at that time in my life, like I didn't have much going on except for the music, and so it just made it all okay. It was like this might have happened, and like, you know, maybe I'm kind of a burden on my family for a few months here because I wasn't able to do anything. But I was like, you know, it was worth it. Like I got my band out there. It was all good. It was cool. So I think the footage is hilarious. It's me getting carted around while I rap in a wheelchair, slurring my fucking words. And experience 8 out of 10. I'd do it again.
That kind of shit kind of runs in the family though, doesn't it? Because I've seen Mantra rap on stage like fucking on crutches with his leg all fucked up, and he's just like hobbling around like in circles on one crutch. And
Mantra, Matt's Mantra was playing basketball with free daps, Isaac Knox and Air Jordan, and just like went down. Like there was a slam dunk, I think, or something he was trying to do, jumped up, came down, and just like, you know, hit the ground, and they like couldn't move him off the court. Cause like he's so big, you know, and like it's like Isaac is not a small guy, but you know him and Jordan are like trying to drag this like 6'4" dude, like, and so like I'm sorry, I just spit all over you. Not your first time. Whoa. Yeah, he torn his ACL, and he still did a show with a torn ACL, like hopping, with like a full leg brace.
It was pretty cool.
There you go. I don't know how funny that story was, but I think it's great. I made something out of a terrible situation, and you know, people know me for it, so it's a good story to tell here. It's part of who I am.
So would you consider yourself a bit of an optimist?
More just like not grounded in reality when it comes down to it. It's, I think, the situation. If you're ever lucky enough to be within inches of my face or whatever, take a closer look. I have a scar that goes from the top of my eyebrow to inside my beard, and it was 15 stitches right down here, and it just lined up perfect. So.
Do you have any other weird scars?
Yeah, I got a few. Yeah, for sure. I'm a scarred up dude. I've received 5 tattoos, but I hold only 2 on my body. So I've gotten stick and pokes that didn't last. So I got 2 stick and pokes, and I got one. So I got a stick and poke of, I got Missouri on me right there, and I got that originally on my leg, on my thigh. There's actually a picture of me getting it on Facebook, and this girl, this like punk rock girl, hitchhiker, taped 3 needles together and dipped in an India ink, and then just tapped it on my leg, like poked it in, and it hurt like a motherfucker, like worse than a regular tattoo does. And so I went on tour the next day, covered it in like a bandage and saran wrap and shit, and then it was like swole, like so swole, like looked bad, and it was super red and puffy, and you like immediately like you could barely see the ink in it. So I was like, is the ink underneath the swelling? Like what's going on here? So I have like a light scar through my hair of Missouri. The first tattoo I ever got was also a stick and poke with a single needle, and it says no effects on my ass, and that also faded. So I have a light no on my right butt cheek. And then when I was like 17, I was at a party, and this is just tattoo stories more than scar stories. My scar stories are boring. I got hit by a fan on my head. I don't know if you can see it, but
Scar right there.
And then another bike wreck. I can't remember which one it's on. Another bike wreck. I got a big scar across my clavicle right there.
That's a scar as well.
So my last tattoo story, that's just me doing fucked up shit. I hope my mom isn't watching. If you are, turn it off right now. And okay, now I've had a chance for her to do that. I was at a party when I was 17. I was drunk and you know, who knows what else. And I'm in this living room, and just in the middle of the party in this living room is the first punk house I ever used to hang out, like first like squad I used to hang out at, and this guy's like has a prison tattoo, like, you know, just a needle on a machine, and he's like giving a tattoo on this guy's leg, just in the middle of people drinking and everything. And then somehow, maybe it was in my mind, I was a teenager, but people started making fun of me for not having any tattoos yet, and so I was like, fuck that, I'll do it right now. I put my leg up next to his, and he just like switched from his leg to mine. Never met either of the guys before, and he just like did a ring like on my leg just to show that I would get a tattoo. And like, yeah, that ink faded as well, luckily. So there you go. Those are my 5 tattoo stories.
The ink faded, but the hepatitis stays forever. So Marcos I can't say your last name. Marcus G. This is another question that's pretty near and dear to me. As someone who frequently eats a lot of unhealthy food, I was just wondering, what's your favorite pizza topping?
Favorite pizza topping? Shit. Artichoke hearts are pretty sweet. I definitely get those like every time. You know what I mean? Like if I'm going to buy pizza, artichoke hearts, olives, onions, you know, red onions.
Oh my god.
You know, red peppers.
We should eat pizza together sometime.
We should. For reals. Shit, man. Pepper jack cheese. You know what I mean? Like that's probably the one that normal people wouldn't think of. But like back in the day, before I really learned how to, you know, handle my own shit, I would buy a frozen pizza and then put like all that on it and more cheese, like a second layer.
Oh, you have to.
Yeah, of like pepper jack. So
I'm a big fan of like pepper jack and mushroom pizza. Any kind of mushrooms.
Whoa. Oh, something else people usually don't do is chipotle powder. Not like crushed red pepper, right? Because to me that's just a little too strong. I like spicy stuff, but if it's pizza, I want to be able to taste the pizza. So like chipotle powder, it's like a fine powder, just puts that chipotle flavor in there. And I put that on like my eggs and everything. So
hell yeah.
There you go.
That's how you should order a pizza, everybody. Do it the Kelly Betz way. Actually, I bet Dr. Ujeezy probably knew how to order a damn good pizza because, like, I'm fantastic at eating pizza drunk. Just throwing that out there in case anyone is wondering. There's something else that I think was a little bit personal. I don't understand it. Someone asked, how did you hitchhike a plane?
Oh, shit, this is another long one. Okay. Okay. Where to start?
The beginning.
Broke up with my girlfriend. Got fired from my job as a hospital janitor. You know, like,
Sorry.
That's okay. That was a good job. You know, my life was in the dumps. Like, I was like drinking 40s during the day under a bridge every day, basically just living like a scumbag. I was like, if I'm gonna do this, I might as well fit the rest of that mythology and become one of those people. You know what I mean? And get some stories to tell, which is not a good way to live. You should do what you want to do, not do things to make stories. And that's, I think, a place where a lot of my mistakes come from. I guess I'll prerequisite by saying, like, I lived in all these houses that were like social or punk, that were like punk houses, like house venues. You know, it was always the kind of place I'd stayed, and so I'd had hitchhikers stay with me, which is like a network, you know. So I already belonged to this like network of people, of hitchhikers. I don't give a fuck. And I was like 23, and to me that was like super old. You know what I mean? And I was like, I better do it now because I'm super old, because I'm gonna get too old to do this. You know what I mean? Which is like funny to think. But anyway, I'm saying all this to just set up why I was hitchhiking in the first place, because I didn't have anywhere to go. It was just like something to do, you know, whatever. Gonna go live on the street for fun. And so I didn't have like any money. I think I had like $100, you know, and I was gonna go to California, then down the 101 and come back. And so I had a friend that was going with me, who was my bandmate, Ben, and he was like hanging out with these guys we know that were also hitchhikers that just like stayed on the road all the time, because there's these kids that just, they never come home, you know. And so he caught a train with some of them. He like fell off the train and then got on another one that took him to Denver. So he like literally, or like he didn't hop on the train fast enough, you know, when they're like hopping on the back of this train. And so he like got on another one that took him to Denver, which is still on the way to California. So he's like, hey, you know, meet me in Denver. And I'm still in Columbia, Missouri. So that's like, you know, 12-hour drive away. And then he had some other person he could travel with. And so he was like, if you can get here in 2 days, 2 or 3 days, I can't remember what it was. If you can get here in 3 days, we can go together to California. Now, I may be like, whatever, a confident dude, but I am not the kind of guy at my craziest to want to be just hitchhiking alone across the United States, because I grew up on a farm. It's like hella isolated. Like Columbia is still a big city to me. This was going to be a intimidating and big adventure. So I'm trying to meet up with my friend Ben. I say all that to say this. I get dropped off in Kansas City by Mantra. I stay at Deadbeats for the night. He gave me all these joints to like trade for rides. You know what I mean? Like he gave me like this whole stack of like fat joints to trade for rides, which is a flawed concept, because if I'm in the car to give the joint, like I don't, like what is it, like, you know, the guy pulls over to get me hitchhiking and I'm like, I got weed. It's like, oh, now you can get in. Like, no, if they pull over, you're getting in. Either way, I still feel guilty because I just smoked all of the joints like the next night, like all to myself too. People I was staying with like didn't even smoke, so I just like took these to the face and got real paranoid. But anyway, I got like stuck in Kansas City for 2 nights, and so it was like that third day, it was like I had to get there, you know, like I had to get to Denver or I wouldn't have a road dog, is what they call it. So I'm like, fuck. So I'm stranded in Kansas City. In Kansas City, getting out of the west side of it, like there's nothing there. You know, Kansas City, Kansas is a different thing than Kansas City, Missouri. It's just like nothing forever. And so like, you know, like I just didn't know where to stand. I didn't know what to do to get to a place inside the city, which is already a bad situation, to get to Denver. And so all day for the second day in a row, you know, I'm trying this thing and I just like give up, and I'm like, I'm just gonna walk to Lawrence, which I thought was like 15 miles away, which is still stupid, but it was really like 30 miles away or more. Oh, no. So like it was a flawed idea, but I didn't know that. I was like, I'm gonna walk to Lawrence. So I had my big old pack on, you know, and I had my sign that said Denver, and I was like, whatever, I'll pin that to my backpack just in case somebody's going to Denver by way of Lawrence. Doesn't make any sense. So I have that on my back. I'm walking to Lawrence. This car pulls over after I've walked for like, you know, an hour or two. And it's this like BMW. And she parks like way away from me. And it's this lady, and she's on the phone, and she leans out of her car and she's like, hey, you trying to get to Denver? I'm like, yeah. She's like, you're going the wrong way. And I'm like, I gotta be polite because, you know, I want her to like let me get in her car. And I'm like, I know, you know. And she started asking me these random questions like, you know, how old are you? And, you know, like, where are you from? You know, just like typical stuff, you know what I mean? And I'm like, it's my first time, you know what I mean? Like, let me in your car, lady. And I'm being as polite as I can. And I guess it worked because she's like relaying all this information to who I found out was her husband. She says, get in the car. My husband's got a plane. He's going to Denver. And right now I'm thinking like organ snatching pedophiles, right? You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Like some sort of sick.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is no. Like, you know, like Michael Jackson. Like, I got a ranch and there's all these, you know, arcade games. I'm like, whoa. Like, too good to be true. Like, I did not trust it. I get in the car and she like brings me to like her basically like mansion type house. Like, I mean, nicest place I've ever seen, outside of Lawrence. And her husband's there, and they like, he had come back from the airport because he was about to fly off, but he came back and got me. And they were like, you want a sandwich? Like, you want to wash your face? Because I'm, you know, whatever, looking gnarly. And I didn't take any of it. I was like, nope, we're not going to hang out at your mansion. You're not going to drug me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not having no peanut butter and jelly. I was like, show me the plane. You know what I mean? I'm like, let's go. Like, didn't even take my pack off. I'm like, listen, lady, either there's a plane or there isn't. You know what I mean? Like, and so the guy drives me to the airstrip, and he has a single engine plane. Mm-hmm. And he is a dude that owned like his like third business, and he would just like show up to business meetings like once a month. He was basically retired, even though he was only like 45 or 50. And we get in his little single engine plane, and he's a super nice guy, and we take off, And I've flown a bunch of times, and I always get real nervous. Like, I never like it. But in a single engine, it's like a car that flies. It's like very compact, and you're like, I felt in control. And he like showed me how everything worked, and he was like, if I have a heart attack and die, you pull this, and it turns the engine off, and you pull this, and this whole plane has a parachute. I'm like, shit, man, you can die. Like, all right, let's do this, you know? Like, I felt really good about it. He was like, just don't hit the mountain, and you can fly this thing. And it was super surreal, you know? Like, it was super, super surreal. I didn't save any joints for that, so that's too bad. But on top of fucking clouds, like, shit, it was incredible. And the dude was so interesting. He had been in a band that had become Kansas, I believe. He'd jammed with these guys that became Kansas, but he had lost his finger like Jerry Garcia, except it was on the wrong hand. And so he could no, it was like a machine accident. And so he could no longer play guitar. And so he'd taken up piloting and some other, he'd like become a businessman first, rather, because he couldn't be a musician anymore. And he'd like adopted 2 kids, 2 like girls from China. And he was a great guy. And we landed in Denver, and I called my friend, and I called Ben, you know, and I said, hey man, I'm in Denver. Come downtown and meet me, you know, come to this trip downtown. And I had just texted him like 3 hours ago, you know what I mean? Like stranded in Kansas City. And so he's like, sure. And I didn't explain. I was like, I swear to God, on everything. You know what I mean? I think I put $50 on it or something. I was like, on everything, come downtown, I am there. And I met him. And it was incredible.
That's awesome.
And I didn't exchange information with that guy, with the pilot or anything. And I really should have. But I didn't want to be imposing. I didn't want him to think I was going to call him up and ask for another flight. You know what I mean? But anyway, that's what happened. Hitchhiked a plane. Then Ben and I ended up being able to we went all the way up to Eugene, Oregon. And then we hopped a train, and that took us to outside of Sacramento. And then we hitched into San Francisco and hung out with my friend Jen, and my friend Harry Crinline. Bud Crinline was living down there at that time. And spent 4th of July in San Fran. It was great.
Hell yeah, that was a good question. You've had the opportunity as a big part of No Coast to collaborate with a lot of local artists. You know, you've worked with Pompey and Mantra and a whole bunch of people.
Yeah.
But you recently dropped an album with Van Ghost called Odd Souls. Check it out. It's delicious. I bump it in my car sometimes, but I have shitty speakers. That sounded sad. But Ryan Coffey wants to know what your favorite song on the on Odd Souls was.
Oh, geez. And my favorite song on there is Hatred, which is what closes the album, and it's probably the most downbeat song. And there's a music video that came out a while ago. It's super personal. I wrote it right after I stopped drinking. It was a great combo. I stopped drinking, and then I went and saw the Palmer Squares, like that first month. And so I wasn't like sleeping much. I was like kind of on a manic, you know, mode. And when you if you are somebody that gets sober, you know that it gets really exciting at first. And like I went up to the Palmer Squares, and I was like, guys, this is the first rap show I've ever seen, not inebriated, not fucked up. It's my first sober rap show. And Term K goes, pussy. And so the Palmer Squares, if you don't know, are like very technical lyricists. So this combination of like questioning who I was and having seen these guys just put on such a good rap show with all these complex rhymes. And I went home. My friends wanted to keep drinking, and so I went to my buddy's place after that, Jay Cush, and was just there by myself. And I came up with the first line, and I was like, oh my God, what if I just kept this 10-syllable rhyme scheme for like an entire verse? Like, what if I just could rhyme 10 syllables the whole time? And you'd think that would keep you from expressing yourself, but in the end, I think it helped me tap into my subconscious more. Mm-hmm. And then I also do the chorus on the album, which is also really personal, but I'll just do the 8 bars for you. I hope you don't mind. And you can listen that this is a 10-syllable rhyme scheme, and there's a inversion in there too. So there's an internal rhyme that skips.
Impromptu show from the incomparable Kelly Betz, everybody. Hatred off Odd Souls.
So it goes like this. Analyzing the earth from my 6-foot radius. Tantalizing as dirt, put a curse on whoever gave me this. Pantomiming a bird in a kid's book, my cravings hit. Yeah, I don't care if it's regurgitated worms, it's good when I'm tasting it. Cameras light up my smirk, big whoop, I hope you're taping this. Can't decide if it hurts, I'm in love or I'm hating it. Mastermind, I'm at work, like look kids, it's flavorless. Savage side of the world, you can't just find me a cure. Stand aside for dessert, it's dandelions and manure. So, there you go. My favorite. That's my favorite. And the beat goes hard. It goes so hard. Van Gogh's produced that album, and he's so good. The beats are made by hand. You know, him playing guitar and keys, and it's just like, I don't know. It just, that beat spoke to me. So
Van Gogh does, you know, he does a lot of stuff locally, but he's never really done like No Coast like battling or anything. So how did the collaboration come about?
Well, I met him at the open mic nights that I used to host at the Blue Fugue, and he came in with this group, Street Depth, that was like all these like just gnarly looking, like junky looking kids, you know, like 19-year-olds that just were like, you know, street kids basically, you know what I mean? And then he would come in, and he was the best one of them, and then he had a kid, and like cleaned up his act hard, stopped hanging out with them, and like got serious about his music as well. I took that as an inspiration, and so I saw that he was very hungry, and I was always like his #1 fan. He really loved my music. He came over one day and had all these beats, you know, and he said he was done rapping, and I could have all these beats, and I talked him into doing what we ended up doing, as opposed to just rapping over them. And he does do all the freestyle tournaments. He's won, I think, 3 of our freestyle tournaments just in the, like, out of the last like 6. You know what I mean? Like he often wins those. But he just doesn't want to dedicate time to writing a rap battle. He thinks it's stupid. He thinks everything's... He's so fun to talk to because he hates everything. Like, just walking down the street, he's like, can you believe that? You know, like, just starts going off on whatever he sees. It's incredible. So we'll have to have him in here sometime.
And, let's see. Sorry, Internet. I'm gonna close out of these conversations. Oh no, you guys, I fucked it up.
Did you just start a video conversation with Ro?
I did. I'm just gonna. I'm bad at technology.
Kill it. Yeah.
And I think actually we might have asked all of the internet questions.
Oh, jeez.
Okay. We have 2 more actually.
Okay.
Would you rather bang Shake Zula?
Oh.
Or have everyone in No Coast 100% believe that you did, even though you didn't?
Oh, man. That's so tough.
It was a weird one. I had a lot of free time today.
Oh, man. Believe I did, maybe. Because it's just be something to talk about. You know, no press is bad press.
That's true. And then you don't have to bang Shake Zula.
That's what it comes down to. No offense, man.
Okay.
Some offense.
Would you rather,
Have all your questions been would you rather?
I asked a thing about the cold desserts.
Okay.
Would you rather never freestyle again or only be able to freestyle?
Oh, never freestyle again. I've always been against freestyling, even though I'm like the best in town at it. Like,
whoa.
I'm a pretty entertaining freestyler, you know.
I think Mantra goes in when he freestyles.
Mantra does pretty well, for real. But like I think as far as like being jokey as well as technically like it being listenable, and like I think if I'll say it this way, I might not be the best, but if somebody from No Coast was gonna go viral from a video of them freestyling, this guy.
But instead you went viral for rapping with your face all fucked up.
I know. I should get hurt again. But if I hitchhiked the plane and then crashed it and then did a show. Yeah.
Oh, as long as you missed the mountain and just...
Right, yeah. So, yeah, freestyling is so overrated and overplayed. And fucking believe me, I know how hard it is. I've been doing it publicly for like over 10 years now. And, but yeah, I have respect for it. But I mean, the way people talk about it, like if it's freestyle, it doesn't count and all this shit. And like, people just don't understand it at all. And so that sucks to do something and then have fans like not get when it is and when it isn't happening and just all this shit. And like, yeah, freestyling is just, God, I mean, good writing is always going to be leaps and bounds better in quality than freestyling. So that's an easy one for me.
All right.
Do you freestyle?
You freestyled with me a bunch.
When do we freestyle?
At your apartment on 9th Street after Watsky and Wax was one. Remember we did a compliment circle?
God, I don't.
There were like 20 of us in a room, and we did like a huge compliment circle for like an hour.
That's
And then
awesome.
you got mad at me because I was I got around to bro church, and then like he was just really fucked up that night, and I just started like ripping him apart, and you're like, that's not nice enough. And then also at Mantra's house, that was the night that you got lost at the other apartment.
I got lost like a
Sick
block. I got lost a block away from my girlfriend at the time's place that I was basically staying at. Like, I'm in my own neighborhood. I got lost because doing stupid shit.
And then I made it into the 3rd round of the freestyle tournament I was in.
Yes, that I've seen. I've seen you freestyle battle. I was just thinking of like.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And then I feel like there have been other times.
Okay.
I came over. Oh, I used to work at a head shop, right across the street from where Kelly lived.
Yeah, that's how we kind of not how we met, but how we became close without going in.
Yeah, but I came
Take up your
over
time,
once after that, and we spit some hot bars.
Okay,
you know?
cool.
But anyways,
My memory is
that
garbage.
was when he
Don't-
was UGZ.
Yeah.
He was garbage. He ate trash. It was a whole big thing.
Yeah. Don't be offended that I don't remember that.
Oh, it's. We have one. You know, this might seem like an easy question to answer, but maybe there's a little bit more to it. Matthew Eldridge wants to know, like, why is it called No Coast? Is it just because we're in the Midwest?
Oh, yeah, this is a good question. Gets asked a lot. So, No Coast, obviously, there's East Coast, West Coast. We are No Coast because we're in the Midwest. We're in central Missouri. So the middle of the states. So, I didn't come up with the name. It was the name of a venue that I helped run. It was a DIY venue for like punk music, and there was also some hip hop shows there. It was also like a free store and a library, just like you can borrow a library. And so I was one of the people that like did the painting and like construction to get it going. It was on I-70 next to the Thirsty Turtle, which is actually where the Blue Note started. And then after that, it became like a low-key like sex shop, like like a whorehouse. I don't know. There's a better word for that, but massage parlor. So that was really
Cat house.
That was really sad to see. So that was called the No Coast, which this guy Leo, who's been in just a shit ton of good punk bands, named. We all voted for it because we're all like young anarchists, and so it was like 30 of us in a circle, like raise your hand if you want the No Coast, and like. So yeah, it became the No Coast. But so Leo brought it to the table because he had been in a graffiti crew called No Coast, like No Coast Crew. So if you were in St. Louis 10 years ago and you saw graffiti that said No Coast, that's where it originates, is these guys that do it. Then they became the Hakuna Matata crew in Colombia. So if you've ever seen that stuff in Colombia, that's at least one of the same guys that I know of. So yeah, I guess I was lightly involved in graffiti, heavily involved in punk venues. That title was around, and I did it. There's also No Coast Skate Shop and No Coast Bike Collective in St. Louis, and I've like gotten drunk with the Bike Collective and like had a great time like in the back of their store, and like they had seen the battles, 'cause, like we both had discovered each other like accidentally Googling it, and they're like my kind of dudes. So if you're in St. Louis and you need help with their bike, the No Coast Bike Collective are really great people. There's a lot of No Coast stuff now. Like when we started it, you would Google it and you just go like the bike shop and like a knitting group and us. And now if you Google it, it's a thing. So I'm not saying that we're what made that a name for this part of the Midwest in particular, but we definitely helped it get popular. And you can even Google it now and go to images, and there's a map of which states are No Coast states, which thank God includes Illinois and Minnesota, because that's where we are now. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So we're pretty much. I don't have any questions left. We're wrapping it up with the internet with a question from Tim the Bone Man Burgess.
Never heard of him?
You're lucky.
Bazing!
Boom, got him. All right. So yeah, Tim wants to know, like, if you weren't doing, like your filming stuff and your music, what do you think you would be doing with your life? Any dream jobs? I wanted to be Barney.
Whoa, just really?
Oh yeah, I wanted to be Barney or a taxi cab driver when I was little.
Or both.
Holy
Same
shit.
time.
If you guys ever see a dinosaur driving a cab in Chicago, this is a good dinosaur.
Yeah. When I was a little kid, this is not my answer for the record, but when I was a little kid, I wanted to change the light bulbs on the on the Golden Gate Bridge, because it's like lined with lights, you know? I was like, I could climb up there, it'd be fucking dangerous, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, nobody would see you do it. You know, he's like, it just like the idea that like only one person's special, you know, like only one guy, he goes changes the light bulbs. Like,
That would take a long ass time.
I know. Wouldn't that be great? So I guess I've always been drawn to like things that are like individualistic and give you like an adrenaline rush, even as a little kid. And I don't know if this is cheating to say, if I wasn't, you know, being a rapper and organizing rap, just to say I would be a musician and I'd be organizing a different kind of events, but probably some kind of experimental, unusual like event as opposed to concert. You know, I started in doing punk bands before I became a rapper, just a few years before, like I think 1 year before, but still I've organized a lot of punk shows and I've organized a lot of like whatever, you know, mixed shows of, you know, I used to just be part of a network of underground bands that played in basements and at DIY venues, and at some point I decided it wasn't worth the stress and that I wasn't getting much out of it, and it wasn't like getting me to where I wanted to be, put that any further. And I also just relate to the guys that are involved in the rap world more. Not that I don't love my friends in the punk rock world and still go see. I was at a hardcore show just like, you know, 3 nights ago, and I still love those guys, but the rap people just speak my language more, and I don't know. So maybe I'd still be a punk rocker, doing punk rock things, being a drummer. I've been a drummer and a bassist, but I've toured with punk bands, and maybe I'd be doing that. I don't know. Before I got more involved in rap, I also did like a thing called Earth Dance, which is like an Earth Day ripoff, except kind of mixed with belly dancing type shit. You've heard of it?
No.
I organized that, and like you all hold hands and say a prayer together and shit. Like, and no, we have to have a circle. We have to have more of a circle.
Or a 2-person circle.
Okay. 2-person circle jerk. But yeah, so I like, and then like a bunch of political activist type stuff. I would like go to different, you know, I would like travel just to go to a protest or something that would have some sort of performance element to it. So without getting too into that, like maybe I'd still be giving a fuck, you know, and like trying to change the world. I don't know. Hypotheticals are rough, man. If it wasn't music, I don't know. My day job is I'm a stagehand, and then my night job is I get on stage. So I don't know. I kind of live and breathe music. I use it to get a paycheck, to express myself, to go and relax and have fun. I'd be screwed. I'd be screwed without it if that wasn't an option. So there you have it. Maybe you're right. Maybe an alcoholic writer. Probably. Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah, right? Just one of those guys. I don't leave the house.
Bukowski.
Yeah.
You'd be our Bukowski. Well,
something like that.
something like that.
Maybe more one of like the beat guys, you know, like not Kerouac, but
Maybe Allen Ginsberg.
What's the cool one? Yeah, Ginsberg. Yeah, I'd be Ginsberg.
You heard it here first, everybody. If Kelly Betz weren't a rapper, he'd be Allen Ginsberg.
True story.
Dead.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I used to do a bunch of stupid shit. Maybe I'd be dead. You know what I mean? Like, I used to say that when I was, you know, but it sounds so dramatic now, right? But you know what I mean? Like, just you get into all these different hobbies and, like, they're not healthy at all. You know, like, or at least I did when I, like, you know, was, like, turning, you know, 16, 17, 18, you know, 19 to me was just a really dangerous time, you know? And, like, I stayed out of jail and I stayed alive and everything, and it definitely came close. Like, I got a bunch of stories where I almost died, you know, that are funny to me, but barely funny to the outside world. You know what I mean? Like, you kind of saw me saying even just here, like, those are my best stories. So, I don't know, shit, if I didn't ever, like, just settle down and really focus on music and realize that was, like, my calling, you know, like, shit, I definitely wouldn't be in a good place. I don't know. I'm not trying to say I had the hardest life ever, but yeah, I might be dead or in jail because I had some unhealthy behaviors. So there you have it.
All right.
That got real.
That got real.
We should like fuzz. Barbara Walters, you ever see her interviews?
Oh, yeah.
She's got like, yeah, really bright light, kind of fuzzed out. We should do that for that last scene.
So this has been the 12th episode of the No Coast Podcast. Kelly Betz asked me anything, and we did. Pizza and guacamole. Shit got weird.
Sriracha popsicle.
Sriracha popsicle. That's my next movie name. Let's try that again. I'm out. That's all I can do.
Okay. See ya.